Hello, welcome to Aging Well in America. Every day 10,000 people in the United States turn 65. 5.5 million people are aged 85 or older today. By the year 2050, which isn't all that long from now, 20 million people will be aged 85 or older. Are we ready? Is America ready? There's so much good work going on around the country, around the state, and right here in our own community. And I'm so pleased to have with us today one of those people who's doing some wonderful work that probably flies under the radar. Ruthie Jewell, you are a hairstylist.
I am.
So what does that have to do with aging, our aging population, and how we can make them feel better, other than, of course, that all-important weekly appointment to the hair salon?
Well, that's exactly it. This generation that's aging, they're accustomed to going to the beauty salon once a week and getting their hair done and set. When they become homebound, it's such a struggle for them to make those appointments, to get out, to have somebody drive them. And that's in good weather.
And that's in good
That's
weather.
in good weather. It's
right.
a 2.5, 3-hour ordeal.
Right.
So think about bad weather. Think about ice and snow and all those brittle osteoporosis and arthritic bones.
Right, right.
It becomes a huge concern.
And it's an important thing to do. So just to say, oh, we'll skip the hair appointment, what happens then? It just feeds into the depression, unfortunately, because their hair is growing. This happened with my own mother, and it was so hard to get her to the salon. But when we could, it made such a difference.
It makes a huge difference. It makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
And when you feel like you look good, you tend to feel good.
Absolutely.
And people treat you differently. When you're homebound, your children come to visit you, and when you don't look good, when you don't look the same as you always did, it hurts them too.
Yeah.
It makes them feel like mom's not keeping up with herself. Mom is really not looking good.
Right. It really puts a pall over the whole family.
It does.
So you were telling me earlier how you came up with in-home salon services for seniors. This is a very nice piece of literature that you have. I'd just like to show it here. In-home salon services for seniors of Grosse Pointe. Ruthie Jewell, you're the hairstylist, and you came by this service quite accidentally. Tell us the story behind that.
Well, I was a stay-at-home mother, and I used to wish that some salon services would just magically appear to me, so I didn't have to hire a babysitter and go out. And so I started, when I became a hairdresser, I started going to my clients' homes, busy working mothers who didn't want to spend a chunk of time away from their family, and stay-at-home moms who they didn't want to pay for the babysitter and leave. So I would start to visit my clients in their homes for the convenience of it.
Sure.
Able-bodied, younger women.
Right, right.
And a girlfriend of mine who knew that I did that, she asked me to go visit her father, who hospice was already at the house. He was really, not doing well.
Right.
And he couldn't get out to get his hair trimmed and his beard trimmed.
Okay.
So I went to visit him, and when all of his hospice nurses would show up for their shift, they'd say, "Hey, you look great," and he felt great.
Yeah.
Because everybody responded differently to him. And I thought, well, I don't only have to go to the homes of my able-bodied clients. I can go to the homes of homebound seniors who can't get out to see their stylist.
Right.
It seemed to me at that time to be obvious.
Yeah, yeah. So when I think of that, again, I had the same experience with my mother and my father in their last years. Having somebody come to the house, I tried it a few times, but it was hard to find somebody.
It is.
And then there was the thing about my mom putting her neck in the sink, and
or bending forward.
Yeah, or bending forward. I could just tell it was really difficult and hurt her.
Painful.
So you have this wonderful device that we'd like to demonstrate. I wonder if we could do that. Lauren, could we bring the, could we set up for this portable sink that Ruthie has brought?
It's amazing. It's an inflatable shampoo bowl. And so it's soft.
Okay,
and
so I saw you blow it up earlier, and you literally pump it up. Okay, so where do you want us to put it? Right here? All right.
Perfect.
So we're going to, here,
so let's pretend you're wheelchair bound.
Okay, so this is, it's a sink. Easy shampoo hair washing basin.
It's a sink, and it's inflatable, so it's soft.
Let's pretend this is a wheelchair, because that's what my mom often sat in. And going to the sink in her bathroom wouldn't work because there wasn't enough room.
It's not the right height.
So we would just put this on her kitchen table or her kitchen counter.
Yeah, a lot of people have
and you don't even need to be near a sink because this cord here goes into a bucket.
We have a drain hose. It goes right into a bucket.
All right.
And
I'm just going to sit here, and I'll take my glasses off.
What I would do is I'd prop you up with a few towels just to protect your clothing.
All right.
And then we'd encourage you back. And now you're pretty flexible, but if you're not, we can lift or lower the shampoo bowl. And then this provides an opportunity for you to actually have water cascading down over your head
instead of feel
and
good?
then there's a very important power of touch.
Absolutely.
The healing power of touch, and I like to incorporate that sort of head massage. And we do a double shampoo because I'm not going to see you in 3 days. I might see you in 10 days. So it's
the water
just
cascading is so important, and the massaging of the head, like you said, the touch are two really important. This is great, and it's comfortable.
It's really good.
Comfortable.
It's actually in some ways it's nicer than at the
because
salon
there's even a little pillow right inside.
There's a headrest.
And if somebody is in bed, you can put it under. You could just make it. Replace their pillow, right?
This was designed for the bedridden.
It was.
This was designed for bedridden, but we can make it work in a variety of applications.
Okay, we can move this out of the way since we've already looked at it. It's just a wonderful invention. I so wish I had it when my mom needed services like this. So, okay, so then this is right smack in the middle of the. I'm just going to move it over here. All right, we're doing a little furniture rearranging over here. That's good. All right, so so your friend called you. Her father was on hospice. He could not get out of bed, and he probably just needed to feel a little better about himself with being bathed and having his hair cut.
100%.
And what a difference it made for everybody.
What a difference. And you know, in retrospect, you were talking about how you took care of your father.
Right.
When my father was sick, I wish I was not yet a licensed cosmetologist.
Okay.
So it didn't even occur to me that I could do that for him. And I look back and I think he used to feel so good after he went to see his barber.
Right.
Which was all the way in the Penobscot building.
Really?
And he lived in Grosse Pointe. So
no kidding.
At that time, you know, he was being transported back and forth just to dialysis.
Oh.
So, you know, and he always felt so good when he looked good.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you feel sharp. And then there again, people respond differently to you when you look well taken care of.
That's right. That's right.
Even your own family will respond better to you.
And as you said, it makes them feel good too.
Yes.
So tell us how then this has blossomed from that, from kind of the accidental call from your friend who needed a favor, to how you are really incorporating this and building this into a service in the Grosse Pointe community.
Well, it seems that everyone knows someone who requires this service. I work with senior services. I've contacted a lot of the local, and there are many senior services, references. You know, I use my card as a reference. Bright Star Senior Services. And it travels from there because, for instance, when I'm at one family, I go to see them every 10 days.
Okay.
Shirley and Warren.
Okay.
And we process Shirley's hair every 10 days. And then her husband is every other visit. So it works out perfectly for him as well, that we get to trim him up.
So you do Mr.'s hair, or you trim him and give him a little head massage too, I'm assuming. And you mentioned that in that particular case, you don't use the bowl, so you don't always need
it's not always necessary,
inflatable sink.
No.
How is that done then?
Well, in that situation, I would prop up with towels if the hair is short enough. If we can't do this on long hair, nor we can do this on color services. But you know, you just encourage the chin up, and you can spray them down, or just you know, cascade a little water over them, and it all goes onto the towel. They never get wet. And then we go ahead with the double shampoo and the condition. But so oftentimes there's a caregiver or a companion sitter or even one of the licensed nurses, and they will then tell some of their other sort of...
It's a network that you're building,
big.
I can hear.
And it's really big, you know. And
especially this past winter, where we've had so much snow and frigid weather, that even those that typically do go out, and there are many who do as well, and that weekly visit to the hairdresser is something they look forward to, but when they can't, putting it aside for 3 or 4 months and saying, I'll just do it later. This is a really nice, so sometimes I'm thinking you might meet a need for an interim period of time, and others it may become an ongoing.
Yeah, it certainly becomes you know, something that we pre-book for months.
Yeah.
Just so they get their appointment, just so they know that I'm available for them.
You talked earlier about why a weekly appointment may not be necessary.
Well, a lot of my seniors, the oil glands in their scalp, their sebaceous glands, they're not as active. So they don't get as oily. And a weekly appointment maybe in their 30s, 40s, 50s was okay, but now 60s, 70s, they really need maybe once every 2 weeks, once every 10 days. And you know, they tend to be able to fluff up the style in between, but other than that, no, your glands become less active, and you become less oily. So it's not as necessary to be washed that frequently.
So you're pretty busy between the moms, the busy moms, and senior citizens who want to continue this and stay home. It sounds like you're just going. I imagine somebody running with scissors.
It's exactly what I'm doing. I'm jumping. You know, I travel. Everything comes with me, and it feels like I am running with scissors. That's perfectly put.
Something that our mothers always told us never
run with scissors. I tend to always go against. What's advised?
Exactly, and it's working well. So where do you see this going, Ruthie? Where, how far can you? I mean, what's the trend?
Well, it seems that a lot of seniors want to stay in their own homes. You might have the numbers on that more than I would, but people want to stay in their own homes where they're surrounded by their memories.
90% of the aging population.
And assisted living is expensive. So when you consider those things, people are opting to stay in their own homes. And the more people who are opting to stay in their own homes, the more services need to come to them. You know, a lot employ landscaping services, and you just don't think immediately that your salon will come to you, because we all have the option to do that. It's just nobody does.
Now tell us about yourself. You said you were not always a hairdresser.
No.
You started in a different. Now wait until your clients hear about this. You're going to be asked to do other things.
I went to culinary school. And I worked as a professional pastry chef for years and years and years.
No kidding.
In some of the area's top restaurants. So, you know, not only did I learn all of the, you know, the well-rounded skills of a chef, but I focused on chocolate and pastry.
Oh my!
And artisan bread.
Do you still bake?
I still mostly do chocolates. That was my passion. So I managed to find time to do a little bit of that, mostly around the holidays for friends and family. Other than that, it's it's something that's more in my past.
Okay. So why the shift from pastries to hair?
my husband is also in the restaurant industry.
Okay.
And after we had our second child, we decided that 2 restaurant industry parents was not a good idea, not advisable for raising happy, healthy children.
Because you were gone a lot?
Nights,
or,
holidays, and weekends.
Yeah,
And
busy
that's
time, yeah.
inappropriate, as we felt.
Yeah.
So I approached a woman. I was teaching culinary classes at a market, a high-end market.
Really?
And yes, and I kept running into my old hairdresser, and she always had an apprentice. And so I just kept bringing it up. I'd love to apprentice you. I'd show up at her salon. Hi, let's go to lunch. And finally, after a few months of me really on her back, she took me on as her apprentice. And an apprenticeship is different than beauty school.
Yes.
It's a 2-year process.
Okay, tell us about
So
that.
you, instead of going to beauty school for 1 year and then assisting a master stylist for a year, I was able to do it all in sort of one place with real clients.
Real hands-on.
Real, very hands-on. She is a busy salon owner.
Okay.
And she worked 2 chairs, so I was always doing something. She'd be here on this client, and I would be here on this client.
Okay.
And we'd flip-flop.
So a good old-fashioned apprenticeship.
An apprenticeship,
you learned
yeah.
on the job.
And you know, you don't find those very often. They're not available. You really have to work
To find
to
one.
get one.
Yeah.
So
And then after the training period is over, then you sat for a state board exam, just as all cosmetologists do. Okay.
the cosmetology state board exam, exactly.
Okay.
And once I was licensed, it just took off.
I could see as a being in the home care industry. You mentioned our services, Bright Star. I could see caregivers, professional caregivers, learning a bit, I mean, not to become hairdressers, but at least learning some proper techniques on how to comfortably wash and massage hair, you know, not cutting necessarily, but just to wash and style.
And even blow drying. Even a proper blowout with the right products can give some longevity to the style. It can last, you know, other than, you know, just kind of finger blow drying. If you learn how to really work a round brush and work the blow dryer, it can, with the right product and the right education, it can last.
Are you, when you go to homes where there are caregivers or family members, do you show them? Do you, are you able, I mean, is that part of what you're able to do?
I would like to be able to do more of that. Generally, they're assisting their patients, so it's not something that they make a priority.
Yeah.
And a lot of people feel like, I can't do that. I don't know how to do hair. I don't know how to do a blowout, especially when I get out all my hot tools.
Yeah.
And all these different size barrels for the curls and
Yeah.
the direction of the curl, and you don't want to burn somebody. So it would be helpful, I think, that if those caregivers could pick up some of those skills, I think that it would provide a more well-rounded. Often the caregiver is preparing dinner.
Okay, so they're doing something
for the couple or for the person
right.
whose home they're at. But that's another well-rounded skill that they have.
Sure.
So a little bit of both would be incredible. It'd be a dynamo.
So you talked about color. Are you able to do color in this situation as well?
Of course. It's with the inflatable shampoo bowl. It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. You apply the color, and while the color's processing, I can, you know, work on somebody else in the house, and then we just go right back to the shampoo, and you shampoo it off. It's brilliant. And, you know, I can't say enough how when you feel good, when you feel you look good, you tend to just hold yourself a little bit with a little bit more confidence.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, the gentleman you saw, he actually pumped up a little bit when people came in and said you look good.
He did.
And can you give us a story, you know, not necessarily with names, but a particular story where you've seen this difference in an elderly person who, you know, was not you know, not doing so well, and now after maybe months of visits or longer, you see a difference?
I was contacted by the daughter-in-law of a lady who was in a rehab facility.
Okay.
And so I went out to the rehab facility and I visited with her mother-in-law who had had an extensive surgery. She wasn't able to do her hair on her own. And the emotional uplifting from seeing yourself look good.
Yeah.
You know, it puts that little pep in your step.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the daughter-in-law this is an ongoing thing, but
right.
she always, it makes her feel good.
Yeah, yeah.
And
it's a gift she's giving.
It's a gift she's giving, and she's receiving a benefit from it as well. So in a way, it makes you feel like you're taking care of your mother, of your mother-in-law, of your father-in-law, and that makes everybody feel better, because a lot of times we're too busy to go take care of hair services for our mother or mother-in-law or father.
Yeah.
Beyond the fact that we might not know what we're doing. So I would say that, this daughter-in-law she's always just so pleased that her husband's mother is being taken care of, and somebody is, it's just reassuring.
Yeah, and you were able to go into the rehab facility where she is, so you can really go anywhere, I'm assuming.
I can.
You can go, if they are living in an assisted living, that's their home, so you can go to home facilities, independent assisted livings. You can go to rehab facilities. You can go to hospitals, I'm assuming.
I can go. I have to be contracted, or I have to be hired by the family privately.
Sure.
Especially in like the assisted livings. That's why I focus on homebound mostly, is because you're being hired by family. You get to know them. It's not so nameless, faceless. It becomes very personal.
Right.
And, you hear stories, and I get to know through stories their grandchildren.
Yeah.
And their experiences and how varied their lives have been.
I'm thinking, I can just see a whole family lined up. Here comes Ruthie, and they all line up.
Oh, that's true, especially for when I go to see a client, any family.
Right, right.
But a client with young children, it's like, oh, can you just trim around his ears while my color is processing? And my husband needs a neck trim, so can we do that? And so there's once I'm at a house, it's anything could happen. So I generally come prepared with the full salon.
You bring everything.
I do. I have to, because you never know what you'll
You've
encounter.
got a list of your services here: hair coloring, highlighting, men's cuts, women's cuts, waxing, hair straightening, and blowouts, and keeping homebound seniors looking and feeling their best. It's absolutely, it is absolutely a true statement when you look good, you feel good. So you do offer gift certificates, and I'm thinking, as you're talking about the woman, the daughter-in-law, this could be a wonderful gift, right, for Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays.
Yes, holidays.
Just a springtime gift as we look forward
like a
to
refresher.
spring coming, a refresher.
Just a refresher. And
absolutely. Yeah. So are there other services that you're thinking of incorporating other than the hair and waxing? You do some waxing, some coloring, and so forth. What else
I have a client. She still manages okay, as long as she knows where she's going and she knows that there's maybe one of those amigos available at the grocery store.
Right.
But she can't make it out to get her nails trimmed.
Okay.
Her toenails.
Okay.
And she's so arthritic, she can't bend over to do them herself.
Oh.
So I offered the service to soak her feet, and we'll, if it's a non-medical situation where it doesn't require special podiatry tools, absolutely, that's available as well.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And
so
it's another thing that
like foot care,
Yep.
Soaking, rubbing lotion is so very important. Again, it's another opportunity for touching, and then trimming if it's non-medical.
Non-medical trimming, absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful. But not the manicure, pedicure
No.
kind of fashion.
It's more maintenance.
Maintenance.
It's more for the maintenance,
Right,
you know,
right.
that you and I are able to do without a thought.
Yeah, yeah.
It becomes something that, you know, somebody with unique needs has to plan. And it generally takes all morning, and then
Yeah.
the day is half gone by the
Yeah.
time they get out and get home and get in. So
somebody who needs their hair done, would like some special treatment on their feet, call Ruthie, and you will be there with like you said, with all your tools, and just be able to just change everything about the way they feel with some cosmetic type of service, which really goes so far. The touch, the rubbing, the neck massage, the feet massage, and
everything.
the legs.
And I tend to, just because of how I was trained and from whom I was trained, I tend to stick with the luxury brands.
Yeah.
So they have, you know, better aromas. That sticks with you. I mean, that's all a part of, you know, you're getting, you know, warm water pouring over your head. You're getting a massage. You've got the smell of this luxury product. It's a full service. It's a full service, and to ask your busy daughter, or in some cases it could even be your 20-something-year-old grandchildren. It's a comfort level that I think it's not in their comfort level. It's much better to have somebody from outside come in. I don't have any baggage with your mother or your mother-in-law, and I'm not bringing anger towards them, and that's another thing. A lot of times people come in and they're always wearing scrubs so it's a very sterile medical environment that they're getting used to, and then I show up with bright colors and sort of big personality, and it becomes,
I was gonna say,
it becomes a thing. It becomes an event instead of here's somebody else in scrubs.
Right.
Or here's another nurse.
Ruthie, you are a special person indeed, and I'm sure whoever doorway you passed through was very fortunate to have you. Believe it or not, we've come to the end of our program. I want to thank you, and as always, do send your ideas to the Grosse Pointe War Memorial for future shows. Thank you.